How does climate change information make you feel? Anxious, depressed, sad? At the very least, probably not like this. It's now widely accepted that climate change is severely impacting mental health. Sometimes information might help you make better decisions, but sometimes it just makes you feel worse, and those feelings can add up. So how do we know when does the benefit outweigh the cost? To help answer this question, I aim to estimate a dollar value of the mental health impact of climate change information. But what do I mean by mental health exactly? Well, historically, mental health has been defined as the absence or presence of diagnosable mental disorder. But recently, researchers have provided evidence for a model that also considers well-being factors of mental health, such as feeling a sense of purpose, belonging, or emotions like grief or fear. My laboratory experiment is able to capture this well-being factors of mental health while also observing how it correlates with mental disorder. My research studies lots of different types of climate change information, but today I want to focus on one type, the greenhouse gas emissions intensity of various actions that you could take in a day, such as the carbon dioxide equivalent associated with eating a steak or driving a mile. But why focus on the mental health impact of information in the climate change context specifically? Well, it turns out that in this context, the mental cost outweighs the physical benefit. If I receive climate change information, I may reduce my emissions. But this will only have a tiny impact on the physical damages that I face due to climate change. On the other hand, the mental health costs of that information may be large. I may really care about how my emissions impact others. My research includes a mathematical model of this decision-making in the face of climate change information. And using that model, I have proved the conditions under which the physical value of information about climate change is extremely small, implying that the driving value of information is mental, not physical. So how do we measure this mental value? I plan to observe participants' willingness to pay to avoid climate change information, where the alternative is neutral information. And the plot twist here is that for most participants, I plan to use known information. Why use known information? Well, take a second and think about one of the most painful experiences you've ever had, physically or mentally. Now, prior to that experience, could you have predicted how awful it would feel? Research suggests probably not. There's evidence that says that people are pretty bad at predicting how they cope with future adversity. So I use known information in order to garner trust in my estimates. Ultimately, I hypothesize that the mental health cost of information will outweigh the physical benefit, meaning that people will be willing to pay to avoid climate change information on average. It may also be interesting to look and see how this mental health impact correlates with different types of people, different groups, such as people who are more anxious or people who care more about the environment. Finally, to shift your attention to more positive information, I invite you to think about one of the most wonderful experiences you've had. Thank you very much.